Zurich, London, Los Angeles, Chapel Hill, Mexico, Italy. Fantastic. So we have a very big audience. And I also see that we are now live on YouTube, Spotify as well. So also welcome everyone that joined from there. Awesome. Sellics Thursday, I think you can now change again the rights over, and I think then we should be good from that side.
That's amazing. So diverse, right? We have Argentina, Mexico's there, Los Angeles. That's amazing.
And it makes me feel bad, right? Because in this year, you know, so many could not travel, including myself. And if you see all of these beautiful, amazing places around the world, Toronto,
it's a teaser, right?
I get emotional, right, when I see all of these beautiful places. It reminds me of the world where it was easy to travel. But we, of course, make the best out of it, even if we are not able to travel, right? That's why we have also the Zoom out. Exactly. Sellics tries to be global, and here we are. So Prime Day is a global phenomenon. It's a global event. Let's jump directly into the topic. And I will start with a very simple first quick question. And just to get a little bit the spirit of everyone. And so the first simple one is, are you excited for Prime Day? Okay, Yasa, do you see the results as well?
No, I just see the question and I can't answer.
Okay, you cannot see them. So I'm the only one that sees them. All right, so the results, we have a 77% that says yes, right? Nice. 75%, 20% a little bit. So I see still someone not really sure what to expect. And we have even 5% that said no. So
well, thanks for being here anyways, right? If you're not too crazy about Prime Day and you're still here, that's still a good sign, I guess.
That's a good sign. And I think it's also just everyone that probably people want to try if this is a live show. Yes, so also the no button works, right? So we have 5% that say no. So here you can see the results. Mm-hmm. And yeah, I think we think that you should be excited for Prime Day, because Prime Day is now the big kickoff event of Q4. As all of you know, Q4 is normally already, the packed quarter of the year, where everyone knows with Black Friday, Cyber Monday, the full Cyber Week, then the Christmas holiday shopping season up to Christmas. This is for many, many, many brands out there, the time of the year. And what has changed this year is that on top to already all of these big events, we have Prime Day happening as well, which is happening for the first time. So I will quickly share my screen just to get everyone on top of what we can basically now expect. So, Yasa, you see my screen?
Yes.
Fantastic. So if you also go to Sellics, you will see at the top, there's the Q4 of the Century section. In this section, we will also post all of the content, all of the analysis, all of the guides around everything that you can expect in Q4 will be posted here. You have also the countdown. So we see here now that Prime Day has been officially announced on Sunday by Amazon. We know that now 12 days are just to go until Prime Day happens. And then on the horizon, we see already Black Friday, Cyber Monday, and 85 days from today will be Christmas. So today we'll talk a lot about Prime Day and all of the different strategies. But before we jump into everything that you need to know around Prime Day, just a very quick outlook of how Prime Day now will also influence everything else. So let's quickly jump into this one. For those of you that joined the last session, you probably have seen our big analysis of what you can expect when it comes to Q4. So what we will do in the next 12 weeks for each of the big events that are now coming up, we'll have dedicated deep dives, dedicated tips and tricks, dedicated strategies, how you can make the most out of all of the events. And the first one here is now Prime Day. And we already see here in this beautiful chart, normally Prime Day happens in July, mid-July. This is 2019. If you look at the gray chart, blue one is this year. Both represent revenue, ad revenue that is generated on Amazon. And you also will notice this big jump here in beginning of Q2, right, end of Q1. And what basically happened here, this was COVID-19. And we talked a lot about this in the last show, but in a nutshell, e-commerce has seen a phenomenal growth through the pandemic. The reason has been that many, many more are now shopping online, are going to Amazon, and there are different effects, but the two most important effects are silver servers. A full new target group has pretty much discovered the online e-commerce world, but also everyone that shopped already before has started to now shop even more online, including myself, right? I told, yes, if you remember last time I told the story, how many things I bought, in April. And I think, there are many more, because it's just for the first time that you also start to buy things online, which you normally probably have bought offline before. So this is what you see here nicely in the numbers. And this is basically now very important to understand, because when we now think about Prime Day, that will happen in 12 days, that this means that Prime Day will be bigger than ever. And this is quite a statement, because Prime Day has been already very big in the past, right? And on top of that, we know that Prime Day will also influence everything that will then happen later in that quarter when we think about Black Friday, Cyber Monday, end of November. So let's quickly talk a little bit about what basically Prime Day actually is. I think everyone that is joining today has a very good understanding around Prime Day, but we'll quickly jump into a very quick recap. I think it's just important to have a common ground before we basically jump into all of the concrete things that you need to know. So Prime Day, for the first time, happened 6 years ago. It was 2015 when Amazon for the first time kicked off Prime Day, which means that basically now 2020 will be the 6th time that Amazon will organize Prime Day. And it will be for the first time, not in July, it will be for the first time in October. And the big thing when we now think about, what has Prime Day taught us basically in the last couple of years, then I would say a couple of things. I think the first one, which is probably really important to call out, when we think about Prime Day is a day that attracts an incredible, huge audience to Amazon. The general idea of Amazon is to promote basically Prime, right? So Prime itself is already there since 2005, but Amazon itself started only 10 years later, almost a decade later, to start with the first Prime Day, so 6 years ago. And in the beginning, it was just the idea to have a big shopping day in summer, right? So a big shopping day in summer, and also to promote the Prime membership. But what has essentially now happened in the last 5 years is that every year, Prime Day has increased in the shape and has increased in the form. In the beginning, it was just 24 hours. Then it increased 2017 to 36 hours. And then since 2018 and 19, it even increased to 48 hours. So the Prime Day that we are now talking about in 12 days, and that's the first important thing, is not a day, it's actually 2 days, right? So for the first time, not for the first time, so for the second, third time, but this time we can expect that there will be 2 days full of deals, full of great offers. And the goal is to get a big audience to Amazon to really get them pretty much buying things, right? I think that's the big one. And obviously also subscribe to the Prime membership that Amazon has. So that's the background, right? That's the general idea of Prime Day. But as mentioned, this year is different, right? So this year is different because it's bigger, but it's not just bigger, right? So it's also in October, right? So what would you say, Yasser? What does it mean for any brand that now Prime Day happens in October and doesn't happen in summer anymore?
That's a very good question, right? So traditionally, like you said, it used to be in the summer where sales were low anyways. And I think a lot of emphasis was put on Prime Day to really overcome this little bit of a low, right, during the summer. Nowadays, it's in Q4. Sales are good anyways. And it's just a cherry on the top, I think, right, for a lot of them. What we have to take into account, though, is that many brands will not have enough stock because it was a little bit of short notice. Usually they could account with definitely somewhere in the end of summer, July. They have the stock ready and they can do the promotions as it's been planned for a long time. Yeah, now it's short notice. The stock levels might be planned all right, but maybe not the extra increase that will happen in Prime Day. So a lot of brands might not even take part in Prime Day. Yeah, what does this mean? I think for the other brands is that they have a huge advantage, right? So if the competitors are not having any deals and you have a deal in place and you have people rushing to Amazon to take advantage of these deals, just the fewer deals will make you stand out.
Yeah, and I think this is already a great opening, because the first question and the first topic that we want to cover will be around what is the objective of Prime Day for any brand around the world. And I think if we want to address that question, I think the first important thing to really call out here is that it doesn't matter what you as a brand will do, or you as a seller will do, or you as a vendor will do. There will be consumers buying many products on Amazon. So this will happen.
Yeah.
This will happen in any way, right? So independent of what you do, this will happen in these 2 days. So now the question is, from a brand perspective, from a seller vendor perspective, how can you get the most out of this? And there are now different things that we'll talk about today. We'll basically talk about 3 topics. The first topic is just very quickly to cover the basics. It's something which we hear a lot. We talk a lot about advanced strategies, but basically the beginning is always, let's have a quick check on the basics, and nothing is missed out there. So we'll talk a little bit about this. Then in the second part of today's show, we'll talk about the deals. There are many different kind of deals, right? When we think about lightning deals, we think about coupons, when we think about deal of the day, when we think about Prime exclusive deals, the different kind of deals. So we'll talk about these deals, and we also will explain the differences, how they work, and when they make more sense. And then in the third part of today's show, we'll talk about how can you promote these deals the best possible way within these 2 days. Because there are also many different strategies how you can ensure that specific deals that you set up will actually reach the audience that you want within these 48 hours. So this is roughly the structure of today. Again, please always feel free to ask any questions. We always will monitor the chat, we'll monitor the Q&A, and we'll try to always address them as early as we see them, right? So please don't hesitate there, and we'll do this. So starting with topic number 1, the basics, right? So yes, what would you say from a seller or vendor perspective? What would you consider are the basics that everyone should just ensure that they are on place, that they are ready before Prime Day happens?
100%, right? So number 1 is inventory, right? So he gets to be able to sell. If you're a vendor, make sure the purchase orders are in place. If you're a seller, make sure you send a lot. Now you still have a few days. You can actually send some inventory to Amazon warehouses. If not, you can, just make sure you have the inventory. Check your portfolio, see which products have the best inventory. And the next thing you should check, of course, is the listing quality, the rating, number of ratings, rating quality. It should be above 3.5 or even 4-star rating. And just that the listing is very well optimized, right? Make sure that the listing is optimized, conversion rates are good. Make sure you're using all the content that is available, right? A+ content, video content if you can, and choose the products that fulfill all of these criteria, I would say. Yeah, that would be the first step.
Yeah, and I think this is a very good starting point. So one thing which we see a lot in the market is that many are looking directly into deals and promotion strategies. But one of the most important things when we think about Prime Day is just to ensure that everything is set up correctly. Your listings, your titles, your keywords, A+ content, pictures, the reviews need to be managed, inventory need to be there. So everything that we normally would consider as basically listing optimization, so everything that falls into SEO, anything that falls into keyword optimization, ensuring that you can be found, all of this. If you are not doing this already anyway throughout the year, now would be the perfect time to really look at this, because in the end, if any of these basics is not taken care of, then everything else that we'll talk about will already perform to a lesser degree.
100%. Yeah. So I think many people use the opportunity as well to get rid of stock that is usually hard to move, right? So I think that is a good strategy, but you should also pay attention to your bestsellers, right? Because this is a very good time to promote your bestsellers, the ones that are converting well. You have to give them an extra push. Later on, you'll get better organic ranking afterwards, and will help you to just kickstart Q4, right? So do not only look at the products that you need to get rid of. I would say also have a look at the products that are doing well anyways. just to give them that extra push in the beginning of Q4.
Perfect. Okay, then these are just the basics, right? And we'll not talk too much about the basics today because we really want to go deeper into now the specifics of Prime Day. And before we jump into now the specific deals that you potentially can use, let's just get some spirit basically, right? So who is actually planning to use which kind of deal? So what you see in front of you is now the questions: which kind of deal are you planning to use? Lightning deals, coupons, Prime exclusive discount, normal price discount, none of these. All right, so let's just get a rough idea around the audience today. What is basically happening. And if you don't know what all of this is, don't worry, we will touch on all of them in a second. And I also see for one, you were raising your hand. If you have any question, just use the chat or use the Q&A, and then we basically can also address them.
I think we had we had two people who were not excited. Yeah, I can imagine they're going for none of these, right? Let's see.
Actually, we have again 5% that say none of these, but the rest is a very interesting. So I will share the results. So I know that some of you haven't voted yet, but let's still show them. I think what you will see here is very interesting, right? So the biggest one is coupons, right, with almost 50%, followed by Prime exclusive discount and normal price discounts, and then lightning deals is actually the fourth one. And none of these, only a very small part, right? So probably the two that don't like this point, Prime Day, right? But very interesting, right? So I think what this tells us already is that there are different deals and there are different strategies for each of these deals. And some of these deals make sense for some more than for others, right? But let's quickly jump in and to look into what these deals actually look like, just that everyone is on the same page. So I will jump back again to Amazon and let's have a look, right? So if you go to Amazon, you search for Prime Day, you will see the basic Amazon Prime Day page where they already talk a little bit about, okay, this is coming. They promote already a couple of things, right? So this is what you can already see here. But the most important thing when we think about lightning deals, and you can basically see them already now. This is one of the most important things when you think about Prime Days, the so-called lightning deals, but also the deal of the day, because basically what's happening here, this is a fantastic place for Amazon to show consumers, hey, this is a very limited time offer. There's only limited inventory, right? So they have basically two things which really try to boost conversion rates. One is the time is running up, right? The second one is how much inventory there is, and the discounts are quite significant. So one of the big things, when we think about Prime Day, and also what most consumers out there, when they think about Prime Day, will be lightning deals, right? Where we kind of like see all of this in this place.
Yeah, they're just conversion rate boosters, right? So the two aspects you just mentioned, scarcity and then the time limit. I mean, it's the best conversion booster that you can have.
Yeah, and then I think this is psychologically incredibly smart, right? So to do both of these, and again, this is I think one thing that people just get in the mindset: I can really buy a deal. But there are other things, right? So let's jump. I open up a couple of other things here. So let's jump into this one, right? So there are also different views where you have deal of the day and all of this. But here's already something else which I want to highlight because we'll talk a little bit about this. This is the Prime exclusive deal. How does that one work, Yasser?
I think it's super interesting, right? Especially for Prime Day, as people are coming to Amazon to take advantage of their Prime membership. And this gives you the possibility to do that as a seller, right? It's similar to coupons where you can have a discount, but it's only eligible for Prime members. Yeah, and Amazon, what it does as well, they say, okay, become a Prime member to take advantage of this deal, right? So it's, again, a way to get people to sign up for Prime as well, right? I find that this is why I was a little bit surprised after the poll that actually people are using it, because I find coupons being used much more, right? So usually you see a page with search results, you see coupons, no one is using the Prime exclusive deal. And it makes you stand out. I think especially for Prime Day, it will be a good strategy.
Yeah, no, I think, we'll talk a little bit about this, but I think the most important thing, right? So we have the lightning deals, we have the prime exclusive deal. What you also will see here are just normal price reductions, right? Where none of the badges are happening, but we basically just see a price discount. And as Yasa mentioned, there's another big one, which you will see quite a lot and which we'll also talk a lot. This is the one that has the biggest adoption based on the quick pull, which we just did. These are coupons, right? And if you check out here, I mean, in almost all of them, and we also see here some nice formats, which we'll touch on later. But what we see here, right, just the adoption of coupons, as you say, Yasa, is incredible, right? I mean,
it's easier. I think what might be the reason as well is it's easier to implement, right? Everyone knows how to use it. With the prime exclusive deals, you have to download the file, put in the information, upload it again. There's a few extra steps. Maybe that might be the reason why people actually go for the coupons, but everyone is using them. So I don't think that has a big differentiating factor.
Yeah, absolutely. And if you look at this, right, this is just a random search, which I just did. I just bought new earbuds, as you can see, if you watch me in the last shows. And so this is just a search literally from this week. And if you look at this week, I mean, it's 80% have coupon codes in the search results page, which also means that if you don't have a coupon, right, like let's, for example, this product or this product, then you're pretty much out of the game because you're one of the few that doesn't offer a discount.
It's less attractive, definitely, I think, yeah.
So this is I think, something which is very interesting, and what we will also touch on a little bit more is this beautiful thing here in the middle, because what we also see here is a product, a coupon code, and actually a beautiful video. But let's hold on for this for a second. I will now stop screen sharing for a second because I know that there's already quite some questions, and also we want to ensure that we really touch on them as quickly as possible. So one from YouTube. Do you believe Prime Day sales will be hampered because it's so close to the holiday season? Very good question. Yes, what do you think?
I think a lot of people will take advantage to already buy gifts for the holiday season, right? So browse the offers, see what's happening, and I believe it's a very good Kickstarter for Q4. Yeah, and the early bird will get the best deal, right? So and later on, when it gets closer to Christmas, there's less deals as well, right? Consumers know this, and I'm very like you. We don't really know because it's the first time, right? But these are all assumptions, I would say, educated guesses. But it would make sense that people rush to Amazon now, and I think there's two factors as well, right? You have, first of all, e-commerce and Amazon picked up after COVID big time. Yeah, that's number one. Number two is incomes are a little bit lower, right? So people are buying more online, incomes are a little bit lower, so people will look out for discounts, yeah, and ways to save money. So I think it will be a big deal.
I agree. And I also think what we probably will see now that Prime Day, Black Friday, Cyber Monday, they're closer to each other. I also think some of the sales that normally would happen in Black Friday or Cyber Monday, partly moving already to Prime Day, right? Because they're just thinking, hey, I can probably already now buy Christmas presents, basically, right? I can now already buy the cool stuff that I otherwise wanted to wait up to November. So I think this is an effect which we probably will see. So my personal guess is Prime Day will be by far the biggest Prime Day that has ever happened, right? Even if it's now close to the other ones, I think the overall effect, so the shift from Black Friday, Cyber Monday to Prime Day on the one side, the e-commerce boost due to COVID-19, second reason. And then the third one, which I think is also something which is very important, is that many consumers around the world, how could I put it? I think there is the willingness to buy things, right? So as mentioned, when I looked at the cities, when I looked at the locations, at the countries, right? So many haven't traveled this year. The travel industry crashed. And there is a certain psychological effect that many are thinking, hey, I have saved money there, right? And I now actually want to do something good to me. And what is better for that than basically Prime Day, which is a fantastic day where you can get good deals, good value for money, and pretty much, also reward yourself. So I think there is a very good reason to believe that Prime Day will actually be quite significant.
Yeah.
So yes, this was a question from YouTube. Hope this addressed it. Alberto, you are late, no worries. We're very happy that you are here. And then Jim, welcome Jim. Jim is asking, the problem with lightning deals is that there are thousands of products offered. You're just one product in an ocean. Fantastic point. Brings us already very directly to the third topic, which we'll touch on today, right? Which I think will be, how can you really ensure that your deals, doesn't matter if it's lightning deals or coupons, will be seen by the audience. But before we go into these specific strategies, probably one thing to call out, yes, the competition will be fierce. You're not the only one, but also the consumer increase, right? So just the amount of people that will just be there and shop for things will be crazy. Right, so normally this over indexes the effect of a higher competition.
Yeah, I think what we've noticed as well from the data, right, that the return on advertising investment is higher during these days, not only because of a higher conversion rate, but because people are spending more money on each individual item, right? I believe that if you're looking to buy something for like $200-300, yeah, you wait a few days longer to see what kind of deals are there on Prime Day and actually then buy, right? This is how I explain it. If you buy something for $10-20, you don't really care if there's like, a big discount on it or not. So the actual basket size, the amount that is spent on each individual item is much higher during these days because people wait for discounts when they want to invest a lot, right?
And this is such an important thing. So, we'll talk a little about this when we'll talk about our PPC strategies, but I think one of the most important insights around Prime Day itself is that the average sales price is the highest on Prime Day throughout the full year. Now you would say, wait a little bit, right? Because they're all the discounts, they're all basically the price reductions, so you would almost intuitively say it should be the lowest, right? Because everything is cheaper, right? This would be kind of like the normal way to think about this because, hey, everything is cheaper, so basket value and average sales price will be cheaper. But the truth is, it's the other way around. Because what happens on Prime Day, and we looked at everything that happens on the Amazon page, is that consumers are so primed to buy things now. There is a good deal that they go for the expensive products. If they see a good reduction there, they buy them immediately. Conversion rates skyrocket, but they actually buy even more so the more expensive things than the cheaper things, right? Because the discount and also the perceived
bigger, right?
reduction is bigger.
Yeah.
And I think this for me is, one of the most striking things, right? If we think about Prime Day, I think it's very important to distinguish between, yes, the day is about discounts and, reducing prices and deals and all of this. But in fact, what happens is that consumers are buying more expensive things on that day, right? Because this is where they have a better deal.
And if you have a portfolio, I think, where you have different pricing, you should take this into account. Push the items that have a higher price because people will perceive the discount, the 10% discount, 20-30% discount as much bigger, right? And yeah.
Exactly. So we'll talk also about this, how this influences your CPC strategy. And Jim will come back to the question how you can ensure that your deals in your product will actually be found. But before we do this, Salak had a question. Sorry, can you explain again, how does it show up, Prime exclusive discount or coupon? So I think coupon, let me just quickly share my screen again, but just very, very quickly for everyone. And, we know it can be very confusing because there's so many discounts, so many deals, right? But I think the one easiest to really distinguish and to remember are the coupons, right? Because they always get this green highlighted discount here. This can be percentage. This can be also a dollar, euro, pound, whatever value, right? So they are normally also very, very, very popular, as Yasa mentioned, right? So we have a very strong adoption of coupons out there in the industry. It's different when we go to Prime exclusive deals. I think I had one example here, right? Because the general idea here is that the goal is here to get the message across that this is just a very small, exclusive, selected audience. In this case, Prime members, right? So the general ideals of Prime Day. So basically, this one just creates a perception, hey, this is for a very selected audience. And yes, I think you mentioned that at this point in time, if you would compare the adoption of coupons versus Prime exclusive deals, it's massive.
Yeah, 100%, right? And you can see I think the coupon is more visible, right? But if everyone has it, you don't see it anymore, right? So if you see something different in the form of a Prime exclusive deal, it's more visible at the end, right? Just because it looks different.
Yeah, and I think this is a very, very, very good point, right? So if you think about this page, right, where we had like all of these coupons, right, here, right, all of them at some point will almost look the same, right? So then they almost lose the value. They almost lose basically the impact, because there is such a strong adoption that you don't anymore really capture the attention of the consumer. But if you have here, in this case, Prime exclusive deal, right, this captures your attention immediately, because you really see, oh, okay, what is this, right? And this also then leads to generally a much better performance, because there is directly the idea that this is something special and not, what everyone basically offers.
Exactly.
So let's quickly jump back to the questions. I see already many questions. I told you yesterday, I think it's a hot topic in the industry, right? So lots of engagement, which is not surprising. Then we have the next one from Jimmy. Welcome, Jimmy. What is the maximum pieces by product or by account I can send to Amazon according to the last policy?
I think it's very different. It depends on how much you're selling, right? So if you sell a lot, if you have a high turnover, you're allowed a higher number. There is no one standard as far as I know, right? So you have to check within your Seller Central. For each product, you have a different eligibility and how much you can actually send to the warehouses. That's my last knowledge on this topic.
Yeah. And I think also this is an important note for anything that has to do something with Prime Day and policy and restrictions and specific fees and availability. So all of this is changing literally, right, every year dramatically. So if we think about Prime Day from 2015 to today, only 6 times it happened, but it changed every time, right? So the policies, the recommendation, all of this changed. The fee structures changed. And also the eligibility and who can offer what has changed, right? It also changed this time again to such an extent that it's very unclear how things are exactly right now, because they also depend a lot on the marketplace, on the size of the seller, and on different factors. So it's very difficult to really, share like this is the number, right? 50, right? So it almost doesn't exist because it's always too specific. Zalak, a question from Zalak. How much does PPC play a role in Prime Day? Is it just dumping money or helps to show up higher in Prime Day deals? What should be the PPC strategy? I love this question. We'll touch on this in 2 minutes, right? Because this will be the third big one. We'll talk about promotion. So we'll park this question for a second. Let's first jump to, and I think the same thing as Abel, right? So he also asked about PPC. So we'll come to this in detail in a few minutes, but let's firstly quickly touch on the other ones. I will quickly jump. I also see many questions in the Q&A, but let's quickly stay here first in the chat. Kavan was asking, we have limitations in our account because our API is 495. We want to do a lightning deal, but have no way to send adequate inventory due to these limitations. If we sell a large quantity, will Amazon let us send this inventory?
Yeah, I think you can. The thing is, the lower your inventory, the more you can send, right? So if you sell out now, you will be able to send more inventory. And the higher the number, like let's say you sell fast, you can send more, right? So if Amazon sees, okay, you're selling really fast, maybe that's actually a good thing, because then you can stock up for Q4 even better, right? And for the next deals. Yeah, so you might have a slight chance to run out of stock there, but you will be able to send higher numbers at the end of the day later on, right?
Yeah, I think adopt more is better, right? I think this is especially holds true for any kind of deals, because from Amazon perspective, Amazon always needs to also plan a little bit and think, okay, there's enough inventory existing, so it actually makes sense. Otherwise, it's just pretty much not worth if there's just a few available. The question from Saumya, is there any benefit to have Prime exclusive discount and a coupon together?
Oh, that's a good question. I don't think I've seen it together yet, right?
Yeah.
Give it a try and let us know if it works. Yeah.
I agree. Sure. I think I haven't seen it yet. I'm not sure if it would show up at the same time. It's a good question though, right? So definitely worth trying out. I think and also these things change all the time, right? We also will touch on this when we look at the advertising formats, but basically just try it out. And then I think you can see if it gets more packaged. From a logical perspective, it would, right? Because again, everything that differentiates your product listing within the Amazon results page or the product detail page will have a positive impact to you, right? So from that perspective, definitely, but
I can imagine.
Yeah,
because Amazon wants the best for the buyer at the end of the day, right? So the more discount, the better. But I'm not sure. Just try it out. Let us know. It'd be interesting to know.
Yeah. Okay, let's jump quickly to the Q&A. There also were many questions. You are not forgotten. I will touch on some of them, and then we'll go deeper into PPC. So Saulo, welcome Saulo. Saulo was asking, if I sell a single item that sells well, would I benefit from putting on an offer? Great question. Mm-hmm. Yes, sir. What do you think?
Number one, do you have enough stock, right? So if you have enough stock, it's definitely worth it, right? And you're going to benefit, like we said in the beginning as well, right? This additional traffic, additional conversions, additional BSR boost that you will get will benefit you moving forward into Q4 for that product. Yeah. So if you have enough stock, definitely, I would go for it, even if it means not having a huge margin right now, right? So with a discount, you'll have less margin, but it will give you that boost, that you can then carry on to the remaining Q4.
Yeah, and I think it's important to highlight here that if it makes sense to create a deal for any of your products, right? Doesn't matter if it's coupon or if it's a lightning deal or if it's prime exclusive deal. Depends on a few factors, right? It depends, as Yasa mentioned, mostly it's connected to the strategic questions which you have. If you have already a fantastic performing product, it's always number one. You make tons of money with it, right? You're incredibly happy with the margins and everything, right? You run out of stock on a regular basis. Then probably a deal strategy at this point in time will not benefit you a lot, at least not for this product, right? If on the other side, you have a new product, right, which is relatively new, some traction, very competitive space, and it's very important for you to get more traction in the market, get more reviews, get basically a higher rank on Amazon in general, in the organic search, but also just more visibility overall, then things might change, right? Then you basically really want to boost that product for a certain period of time to really basically help to get it more traction and to be much more prominent. And then there are many things in between, right? Because when we now think about a very radical discount, like most of the lightning deals have, or let's say a little bit more better, smaller discount, like most of the coupons generally have, then you also have some flexibility there. So there's always a trade-off between how much do you want to sacrifice your margin on the one side, and how much do you really want to boost basically sales of your product and then benefit from higher rankings, more reviews, more visibility, all of that. And there are certain ways, and they will touch on the PPC strategies, that you can basically try to get smaller discounts, for example, with coupons, and then use very targeted PPC campaigns to still reach your audience so that you are not dependent on appearing at the top of the Amazon page when it comes to the deal of the day or to all of the lightning deals. So there are these strategies. We'll touch on them in a few seconds. And I actually will do this now because I now set this for 3 times and we'll touch on them in a few minutes. I think, I will park the remaining question because I'm also already being very aware of the time. So hold on for your questions. We'll come back to them in a few minutes. But now let's jump quickly a little bit into, we talked about the deals, we talked about the different kind of deals. Now let's talk a little bit about how you can basically reach your audience. And there are different things that you actually can do, right? And I think this is the first important insight. There are ways how you can basically influence this, right? So there is a certain logic how you can reach your consumers on Amazon with deals. It's not that you are fully dependent off of Amazon gives you the beautiful spot here, right? Or not. So what can you do? So one thing that we have already seen here, I think, where was it? Let me jump quickly to, where do we have this beautiful example? Yeah, these were my earbuds, right? So one thing that you might notice here, if you pay a little bit close attention to the product results page, right? So the search results page, is that the first two are sponsored products, right? So this is one of the 3 big Amazon formats. For those of you that joined some of our shows, STL shows in the last few weeks and months, we talked a lot about where does sponsored products appear, where does sponsored brands appear, and where does sponsored display appear. And in this first example here, right, I need to wait until the Zoom top disappears. There we go again. And in this first example, what we see here is sponsored products. These are the first 2. And you also see that within this ad, the coupon is appearing. So this is very important to highlight because it means that with sponsored products, you can target very specifically an audience, either via ASIN targeting or via keyword targeting, and ensure that they will see your coupon code. So that's number 1, very important to keep this now in mind. The second thing, if we scroll here to the middle, this beautiful format, which you see here, very prominently overtaking almost the full screen, basically, right? This is another ad, right? You see here basically sponsored again. You see here another coupon highlighted. You see here the product, and here you see the video. So this is another format, and this is sponsored brands video. So this is the second most important format. And what you see basically here, you can feature a video incredibly prominently on the results page, give it prominence, and even combine it with a discount. Incredibly powerful. And you also see here on the left side, another one, right? To really complete the picture, sponsored display. There you also see a coupon at the top. In this case, it doesn't work incredibly well because the contrast is not strong enough, but another beautiful place, right? To really get your, to get your deal across. So by just looking at this very competitive results page, and here at the bottom, we see another sponsored brands ads that go to the shops, and we see here another sponsored display ad. So you see all of the 3 formats on this page, and you will notice already that the discounts, in this case for sponsored brands and at the top for sponsored products, are also highlighted. So this is very, very, very important to remember. If you do discounts, doesn't matter if it's coupons, if it's deals, or if it's also lightning deals, they will be also shown in your ads. Why is this important? If you now, for example, have this 5% coupon code, right? This is compared to basically the discounts here, 15%, right? Or the other discounts here, $20, much less. But with sponsored products, you're able to appear pretty much here at the top. Right? So you have a very good chance, even with a smaller discount, to get the awareness of users because you basically can ensure that they will see you even before they will all see all of the normal organic results. So using ads to really boost your discount codes and to target very specifically can be powerful. And that's not just only on the product results page. Let's jump to this one, right? So here we have another one. A fantastic example here. The first 4, all sponsored products, right? 3 of them, right, have also a coupon, right? And then we have the organic results. 3 of them also have coupons. Then we have the editorial recommendations from Amazon. And then we basically have here another sponsored brand video ad, very prominently, coupon plus limited time deal, right? And amazing reviews, all of this, right? So fantastic spot in another very competitive space. I will pause here for a second. Yes, when you look at this, like what do you think?
I think there's a lot of opportunities. That's the first thing I would say, right? I think for every strategy, there's the right format, right? So if you have a single product, you use sponsored products, yeah, and with a high adjustment for the top of search placement, yeah, to really appear on top and be able to show your offer. A second good way, though, right, to show single products, which is very unlike sponsored brands usually. Yeah, for sponsored brands, usually you always show a number of products, right? So either you have a big banner on top, you have 3 products, the logo, you can get to the store or to the product, but you never used to have just the ability to have one product in the spotlight. Now you show the video, we see one product. You click on the product, it's a sponsored brands campaign, but you would get to the product detail page of that product. Yeah. So if you're advertising single products and you want to push those, I would say sponsored products, yeah, with top of search is number 1. Number 2 is if you have a video, of course, sponsored brands video ad. if you have a number of products that you want to promote. Yeah, let's say you have out of your portfolio 10, 20 products where you have really nice deals, you can use sponsored brands. And there's a new thing that you can use in sponsored brands, which is called, I don't think many people will use that yet because not many people know about it. It's called Store Spotlight. Yeah, so what you can have is you can make a dedicated page in your store for your discounts. Yeah, you can call it Prime Day discount, for example, or Prime Day store, yeah, or page, Prime Day page, maybe. Yeah, it's a good name. But the thing is, you can drive traffic directly to that page. Yeah, you can use the format sponsored brands format, the store spotlight format, and drive traffic directly to that page. And when users will see it on the top, they will see, okay, look, this person, this brand has a dedicated page that has all the promotions, right? So I can find everything right there. I think it will boost click-through rate. And once people are on your store, you have a big advantage. They will not be distracted anymore by other brands, other promotions. Yeah, and things, you know, when you're on some detail page, the likelihood that you'll find a better offer or something else is always very high. But when you're on the store, you always see, okay, these are the products that this person has, and you're less likely to be distracted.
Yeah, and I think this is the last one. Also, I have many more examples, right? But I think the last one I just also want to highlight. So this is a traditional normal shop on Amazon, another store, right? And you see here in the store, there are different subpages. And what you can basically do, and this is what Jesse mentioned, if you use sponsored brands in this case, you can use the subformat Store Spotlight, right? There are three formats. There's Store Spotlight, there's Product Collection, there's Video. We already saw Video. With Store Spotlight, what you basically can do, you can link to a specific page. You can call it Prime Day deals if you want. And then you can advertise a page like this, where all of your deals, all of your coupons, all of them are in a fantastic way shown in a combined version, right? So it's also something which we've seen can work incredibly well. So many ways just to really think about again. You know, let's see if I had another couple of examples which I just wanted to show as some callouts what you can do, right? So this zoom thing that it always drops down is incredibly painful for screen sharing. Let's see if I can go to the second one. We looked at this. I think here's a good highlight that also both can happen, right? Then to wait a second until Zoom again lets me open up the next tab, which is here. I think in this one also products related to these items, sponsored, right? Basically also see here limited time deal. Gives this much more prominence, right? So also I think very important to notice, if you just look at these results, one of them stands out. Why? Because there's a deal, right? So definitely very important, can be powerful. If we go here, this is another one where both are combined, small coupon code, limited time deal, right? And you get the idea. And this, another one here, sponsored brands, video, and there are many of them. So if you really go through some very competitive products on Amazon, you will notice same thing here, right? There's so many where you basically see that the combination of deals, the combination of coupon codes, the combination now of also new formats, sponsored products, doesn't need to be the only one. You can also use sponsored display, and you can use sponsored brands, especially video and Store Spotlight, to really boost your deals. I see lots of engagement, so I will stop sharing because I also know that we are slowly running out of time, and we have a hard stop today because we have AdCon, right? I know that also many of you are very excited about this, right? But at the same time, right now, AdCon is happening. It's the leading Amazon advertising conference of Amazon. And Sellics is a very proud premium platinum sponsor of this conference. And unfortunately, we need to drop off in exactly 8 minutes, as we need to go over there, as we also talk about the Q4 opportunities on that conference. So I apologize already that we will have a hard stop, but coming back to our examples, right? So let's come back and check the chat. Lots of questions. I think this is fantastic. So let's quickly read them. So Abdel, I hope your question around, PPC strategies, I think top level, definitely the combination of the formats, dedicated targeting, and coupon codes can be incredibly powerful. If you just have a normal coupon code, it can be 5%, 10%. You don't need to reduce it by 50%. You combine it with ad formats, as we all have seen right now. You target specifically the best performing keywords or categories or competitors of yours. This can work like a charm during these 48 hours of Prime Day. And the reason is that the consumers will be on Amazon. They're searching for deals, they're searching for good offers. They will see you very prominently. They're ready to buy, they're in a buying mode, and this can be incredibly successful. So a very clear yes to this question.
One more nice strategy you can add on top of this. If you know which ones of your competitors do not have a deal, you can quickly set up an ASIN targeting campaign. Yeah, and then use the multiplier to really appear on that ASIN's product detail page, right? So let's say it's a very similar product. Usually you have the similar price, and you appear on that product detail page, you're guaranteed to get that sale, right? So that's always also a good strategy to use in this combination.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. Then I see a couple of questions around PPC. I will try to answer them in 120 seconds. In a second, I want to show you some charts around also the budgets and the CPCs and everything that you should really keep in mind. But to really touch on some of the other ones. So yes, Patrick, you can use sponsor brands to promote Prime Day deals, right? So definitely just send them either to your store where you have all of this, right? Or try basically to promote a great deal via video ad. Can work incredibly well. What do you think from Alberto? What do you think about turning on PPC later when other sellers' budgets runs out? Good question. This can be very dangerous. We'll see it in a second. The conversion rates after Prime Day will drop. So in a nutshell, it's important to increase budget and CPCs before Prime Day. Conversion rates will go up. ACOS will still remain on a very good level because the conversion rates and the ASP will go very, very high. So in most cases, you will be very good and well off if you increase the bids by at least 30%. We normally recommend 50 to 80% depending on your business. But then when Prime Day is over, the opposite effect kicks in. So at this moment, you want to decrease the bids because now conversion rates drop. Most CPCs are still high, and you will see a very bad performance in the days after Prime Day. So if you really want to ensure that from a PPC bidding strategy perspective and from a budget perspective, there are many more things we can talk about, but the most important thing, increase the bids throughout Prime Day and decrease them as soon as Prime Day is over.
100%. Yeah, and just to add on top of that, if you want to do that, always use percentage, right? Don't use full numbers. That means if you had optimized your campaigns already and you found the right bid for each keyword, you don't want to ruin that by increasing it to, let's say, €2 or $2. Yeah, you want to increase it by 50%, 100%. Then you're able to go back to that bid you had before that you knew works well in regular times, right? So that's just to add on top of that. And I think our ad scheduling, Thomas, is very interesting for what he mentioned, right? So he I forgot the name of our listener, but you said that you want to wait until the end of the day because other people, the budget might run out and then have your ads running. We have ad scheduling within Sellics where you can schedule your ads. That means you can turn them off during the day and or during most of the day and then keep them running at night. And this way, you first of all, you don't lose all of your budget during the day, and then you run out of budget and you're there when other people's budgets is out.
Exactly. And I think, I just want to also show this. So for everyone, definitely high recommended read. Just go to Sellics Q4 of the Century. If you click here, you will see the first article or the second article, which is basically the Prime Day guide. And many of the things that we also now have just discussed, you will find in this article. If you go to the advertising section, you'll basically find also one of the important things here, where basically all of the developments that you can expect are explained in a little bit more detail. But the key thing is really ensure that your budgets are uncapped. You don't want to run out of budget. Ensure that your CPCs are increased by a lot, like your bids are increasing by at least 30 to 60%. There will be higher CPCs, but that's okay because ASP, average sales price, and conversion rate will increase together over the effect that CPCs will increase.
Yeah.
So this normally pays off very, very well.
So you're paying more, but your return is even higher, right? because of what Thomas just mentioned. Yeah, with our autopilot, for example, right? So you don't, what you can do is you can adjust the bids by adjusting the target ACOS. Yeah, so if you're using autopilot in Sellics, just go in there, adjust the target ACOS by 20, 30%. Yeah, let's say your target ACOS is 10 now, put it to 12, 13. The automation, the AI is super fast in adjusting the bids accordingly, right? So you'll immediately see across all your keywords, the bids being adjusted, you can bump it up. Then later, when the deals are over, you just turn down the target ACOS again, and your bids go back to normal.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, cool. We are unfortunately almost running out of time. I just have quickly scanned through the questions. I think we addressed most of them. I think there's still some left. So very quickly, Brittany was asking in the Q&A, if we did a store spotlight ad, what kind of keywords would be best to target? Keywords for each product or more generic keywords? It depends. It depends a little bit on the store page which you're promoting. As always, it's recommended to be as specific as possible, right? So a general guidance that we always can give, try to use the best performing keywords, which are most relevant, right? And then it normally will work the best. So depending how generic it can be, really depends on the specific product, a specific category. Always keep in mind, it needs to be relevant for the user or for the consumer, and then it can work. Yeah. And Patrick was asking, what can I know more about this autopilot from Sellics? Fantastic question, Patrick. So as we are now closely coming to an end, let me just quickly share my screen, because there is 2-3 things which I just want that everyone is aware as we're ending the show for today. But don't worry, we will continue in the upcoming weeks, right? So we are not done yet. So there's more to come around Prime Day, but also around the Q4 of the century. But to answer the question around autopilot, so what Yasser just mentioned, if you're interested in a fully automated solution for everything that we just discussed, right? So Sellics has a solution for this. It's called Autopilot. If you go to advertising and automation, you'll find more information for this. But you can also just check out our normal advertising solution. You will be in there, and also everything will be explained there. So feel free to do so. Last thing, because I know that I mentioned we need to drop off to AdCon, but last thing, which I just want to ensure that everyone here is fully aware. So the first thing is that if you want to follow us, and everything that we'll now post in the next couple of weeks will be fully connected to what we discussed today, you can just go to sellics.com/social. You will see all of our channels. Just follow them, and we'll ensure that everything will be posted, and you don't want to miss out on any of this. And last but not least, we are launching very shortly something which I'm personally incredibly excited about, because this will finally answer some of the most burning questions that advertisers and any brand out there on Amazon has. And these are questions like, is my ACOS actually good or bad? Is my CPC better or worse than others are paying? What about my click-through rate? Can it be further improved? What about my conversion rate? Is it better or worse? Depending on the category, depending on the marketplace, depending on your specific business. So we will launch a dedicated free tool to answer all of these questions if you want to get early access for this. So if you want to get access as early as today or tomorrow to test it out, to see the results for your business, there's a very simple thing you can do. You can just exclusively, for attending today STL, fill out this simple form, which I will now post in the chat. This is a very simple form. Just add your email there, and you will get early access to this free. And you will be among the first ones around the world that will finally get all of these beautiful questions answered. Are you good or bad, right? Are you doing good or bad around all of these in your account? And then connected to all of these specific strategies, also now connected to Prime Day and the Q4 of the century. So the link is posted in the chat, right? If you want to try it out. Again, this is not public. It's, and it doesn't exist in the industry, right? So where's the form? It's this one. You can see it in the chat. Why can't you guys not see it in the chat? That is weird. Okay, it seems that all of them cannot see it. Okay, then we will do a second solution. I'm not sure why it's not seeable in the chat due to whatever reason. But what we will do is exactly. Thank you, Zalak. We will send it in the email, right? So I will ensure that it's now added in the email, which you will receive after this STL. There will be the link to this. If you're interested, sign up. It's not public yet. It doesn't exist around the world in the full industry. We worked very hard on this to really now go much deeper, to be much more specific in the advertising space, and to tell you exactly for your business, for your category, for your marketplace, how are you actually doing and how can you do better. So we'll share this. Check out for your inbox. You don't want to miss that one. And with that said, we need to drop off, but we want to say a big thank you, right? Thank you for the feedback. And yeah, thank you, Yasa. We appreciate all of the wisdom. We are all incredibly excited for the upcoming weeks. And Rosa, Jan, Juan, Jimmy, we will send it via email. Gavin, Patrick, so you will receive it. But for now, enjoy the morning, the afternoon, the day, wherever you are. See you very soon.
Good point, right? Yeah, ciao.
Bye.